So the Rugby Championship 2023 competition is here, and the Pumas are going to be hosting the All Blacks for the opening round of this competition. It's going to be a fantastic game. Both sides have been announced. So throughout this preview, we will be looking through at key head-to-head battles, the ones to also watch out for, and then a prediction at the end of who we think will be taking out this victory. But it is myself and it is Rugby Itch. We both did the prediction of what we thought the All Blacks starting lineup and reserves would be. And I have to say, not a mile off. You know, we didn't do too badly. Unfortunately, I did get the one correct of them not choosing Sean Stevenson in the lineup.
I did pretty good. I mean, I got Mackenzie at 10. I did predict that. You went with Noah, I think, at number 14, right? So that was a good shout by you. I think we both went with Beauden Barrett at 15 because we suspected that.
But unlike us, Ian Foster, he hasn't tried out too many of those new players into the All Black squad. The only one who gets himself the debut this week will be Amoni Narua, which I feel was probably the most certain of the debuts that was going to take place due to those injuries that the All Blacks have got in the back three. A few players missing, but looking through at some of the key head-to-heads. For Argentina, someone to watch out for always is William Montoya, of course, and he is going head-to-head with a player who we didn't predict was going to be in this side. It is Dane Coles, the starting number 2 for the ABs. What do you think of that battle, and who do you think will get the better of it?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens there because, I mean, both players actually have a ton of experience under their belt. So normally you would say like, oh, with like, you know, if it was Takalaho or even like Cody Taylor, because again, Cody Taylor's like in the middle of the two really of the All Blacks and hookers. So, but with Julian Montoya, I mean, he's like the living embodiment of what Argentina rugby is. So he's someone who I fully rate in terms of like, he's probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite hooker, I'd say, in international rugby. He's probably like, and that's a bold thing to say ahead of Malcolm Marks. I mean, I'm not saying he's the better hooker, by the way, guys. I'm just saying he's out of the two. I love watching Montoya play because like he's just so good from the breakdown. And again, like Dan Coles and him, they probably have two different attributes in terms of what they do for both their sides. Because Montoya is more of a guy who helps in terms of the breakdown, in terms of just like disrupting the play. And again, he is a good set piece, but really Dan Coles is more known for what he does in the set pieces in terms of how he kind of helps the All Blacks in that front. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I'm really interested to see what happens in terms of that, I guess, battle.
Unfortunately, when you said about like they had two very different styles, the first thing my brain went to was Montoya wins penalties and Dane Coles gives them away, which I hope isn't the case in this game. I know that he's been very feisty lately, Dane Coles, throughout Super Rugby Pacific, hasn't he? He's been getting himself in all sorts of trouble out there on the park. Him and Cody Taylor going at each other, that's going to be interesting. They're going to headbutt as they go off the field for the substitution. But yeah, he's certainly going to bring that little bit of extra feistiness to this AB side. And I feel like that will work perfectly in with a couple of these other Argentine forwards. We know how passionate they can be, whether it is Thomas Lavanini. The amount of yellow cards that man has collected over the last little while is massive. The only player they're missing there is Marcos Crema, and it could have been a yellow and red card party between the two teams. But they do have Pablo Matera at number 6, and we know that he has had a recent season at the Crusaders alongside a few of these players for the ABs. I know it was a couple years ago, but it still feels very recent.
It's a reunion.
That Matera is going to have the reunion with the boys, and this is actually the first game that Argentina are playing up against the All Blacks in Argentina in quite some time. So in front of a home crowd, that's definitely going to boost the Pumas in this game, and the All Blacks might feel like they're in quite a hostile environment, the crowd right around them, wanting the Pumas to get the victory. And up until a few years ago, it didn't seem too likely. Now every game that they play, it's a tight one, which is why all these All Blacks players are going to have to be on their A game. The other two in the loose forward trio for the ABs, alongside the opposite number of Pablo Matera, Shannon Frizzell. They've got Sam Cane, the captain, and Artie Savia at number 8. There were rumours that Savia may have been rested for this game, but I think he was probably one of the main players that they decided we need to have him in this side just to get not just some minutes under his belt, but just because we know he's a game changer. I mean, he certainly got that potential of doing so up against there's a lost Pumas side. We look through at the scrum halves, though. Gonzalo Bertrano taking on Aaron Smith. Now, you look at the difference in experience between those two, it's pretty massive.
It's pretty wide apart.
How many tests? About 100 and something test matches difference between them. Aaron Smith player for the ABs, would you say, with the backline he's got?
Just going off, the test experience. I think Aaron Smith should probably have a good game, I'd say. Him alone, I think, will be able to kind of control how the All Blacks game, how they play against the Argentina. Because you have to remember that the All Blacks do play through the scrum half very often. That's kind of the way they play. And with Bertrano, with the Pumas, like, they don't really use him as much as other teams in international rugby. So I don't think he'll have as much of an impact. I have actually seen recently a few of his club games, and because I actually want to just keep an eye on a few players just to see how their form going into this Rugby Championship. And his box team is something that I've seen recently for his club side that he's actually doing pretty well. So he's, I don't know, maybe that's something that they may utilize within this game. I'm not sure, but I think that's probably something to watch out for. But no, I do think Aaron Smith will probably have the wider impact it could say throughout this whole game.
Although Bertrano probably a little bit underrated in a lot of people's eyes, perhaps. Maybe they haven't heard too much about him. I know that last year when we did our team of the season for the Rugby Championship, I actually had him off my bench alongside their fly half, Santiago Carreras.
Yeah. He
can play pretty much anywhere in that backline, can't he? The way he was able to slot in last year. But also in that backline, few other handy players. Emiliano Boffelli. Boffelli, I know off the tee last year, wasn't quite striking them the way he would have liked.
In my opinion, he was like World Player of the Year last year. He was that good last year. So, yeah, he is 100% going to take the kicking team. I can't even see Santiago Caceres taking them unless, like, it's like, I don't know, if they have, like, delegate duties in that sense, like what, sometimes, teams do, then, yes, I can maybe see Caceres maybe taking a few, but I think for the important kicks, I think Boffelli is hands down going to take them. So, yeah, I definitely said the kicking duties lies with Boffelli, but if needed, then yes, you can maybe go with Caceres. But yeah, Boffelli is he's the guy. He's Argentina's guy, so you have to go with him.
I think it always feels weird looking at an Argentine side without Sanchez. Because for so long, he was that fly half option. And, he's going to be coming off the bench in this contest rather than starting. So I guess that big question is going to be, will they shouldn't swap kicking duties, I wouldn't think, halfway through the game, but there is the option. Someone else who's still going for the Argentines, though, Agustin Crevi, he just keeps on going and going and going. He's been playing all around the world. Yeah. He's playing for the London Irish.
He's not going to play for Snell. I'm excited because he'll be in Manchester, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, no, Augustin Crevi is like one of the, he's like literally the establishment, you could say, of Argentina rugby. He's like the first kind of like big name, you could say, of Argentina. And then, let me just rephrase that. In the time which I've seen rugby, let's just rephrase that. Since like 2011 onwards, he is the guy that I saw in Argentina rugby as like, wow, like this guy is something special. Yeah, no, it's just good to see him. And obviously, like you said, Nicolas Sanchez, because these two have been playing forever for Argentina, it seems like. So, yeah, it's good to see that they'll be making an impact off the bench.
Speaking of impacts, Richie Mo'unga, going to be number 22 for the ABs. The question of whether it would be Mo'unga or McKenzie for now has been answered. They've gone with Damien McKenzie in that starting side, and a lot of people think that is because they want to build a bit more chemistry between McKenzie and Smith, see if that is a combination that could work in the future. Beauden Barrett at 15, we both predicted it. We both weren't completely sold on it yet, but I believe with the amount of injuries they've got, they pretty much had to go with him as that number 15. But now we've seen the two sides. We know when this game's taking place, not too far away. Score prediction. Once again, I'm going to allow you to go first for this one. Who do you think takes out this game? I've heard a little rumor from yourself that you said you thought Argentina might take out this game.
That's what I'm thinking, really, because like if you guys check out like on our podcast, I actually did say Argentina have a good shot in actually beating the All Blacks, and you know what? I think they actually could do it. I'm going to say they'll do it. Again, you have to remember, guys, this is not going to be like they'll beat them by a big margin, but I do think Argentina have a shot. Because I can't remember, because this will be their first time they actually beat the All Blacks if they were to do it in Argentina, right? If this was to happen, because they've been in the All Blacks in Australia, and they've now been in the All Blacks last year in New Zealand. So this would be kind of like the trifecta, you could kind of say. So yeah, no, I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna go with Argentina. I think they'll win this game by, I think it'll be close. I'll say a margin of 22 points to 19.
As much as I want to see the Argentinian upset, I feel like for the All Blacks, there's going to be a few players who really step up in this game, because you know, there are a few who are going to be trying to put their name in the hat for going into that game next week up against the Springboks, trying to get themselves that spot in that Rugby World Cup squad also. I also agree with you that it's going to be close, but I'm going to say the All Blacks win this game. I'm going to go, I think it's actually going to be relatively high scoring between them, because I think the All Blacks will try and play a relatively aggressive style. I think Argentina will take those penalty opportunities that the All Blacks concede, turn them into quite a few points. So I'm going to say that the score will end up being 26 points to 22 in favour of the ABs. But then there's a part in the back of my mind saying maybe All Blacks could win this game by 10, 26 points to 16.
They could. You just don't know. You just don't know.
We'll have to wait and see. Not too long either before that game
not at all.
Does take place. But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning into this preview. Be sure to check out Rugby Itch's YouTube channel. His link will be down in the comments below, and also the Rugby Recap channel, where we will be doing weekly podcasts talking about the games, who we think's going well, all the rugby news, everything along those lines. Be sure to check that out as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We will see you all for the next one.
I got the whole loose forward trio, so I was pretty proud of that, you know, because I think I did. Did I guess? Actually, no, I didn't. Oh my gosh, no, I didn't. I just realized. I went with Scott Barrett, didn't I? Oh my god. You know why I thought that was because
I got the whole loose forward trio.
Yeah, exactly. That's like